So, in the year 2019, who would have thought that explosive sheep could do such good work in clearing boards? So, 2 triggers of the death rattle, a 3rd trigger of the death rattle there. And okay, we leave a 9 attack minion alive. That's gonna hurt. But it's okay because look, we have a sheep in our hand again. So we can clear that next turn. That's not a problem. And this is so cool, honestly. No one sees it coming. No one expects it. And you can just keep doing this over and over again. Because 9 lives gives you a copy of the sheep back to hand. So you can just keep doing this. And it's absolutely glorious.
This beast will not be tamed.
Okay, so I thought that was a pretty cool thing to highlight. But let's get down to business now. What deck are we playing today? We are playing Volknur's Monster Mash Hunter. Now, you saw the impact of Explosive Sheep, and you can use that to help clear early aggressive boards when comboing the sheep with Play Dead or Feign Death and 9 lives. As you head to the mid-game with this deck, you have 2 of my favourite cards from Naxxramas, and I'm glad they've found a spot in this deck, Fugan and Stalag. And the eventual idea is to get multiple copies of Thaddius down on the board and hope that your opponent can't deal with them. You could do some pretty cool things with the Carnivorous Cube here, in combination with Fugan and Stalag, in combination with Sylvanas. Nerubian Unraveler also in this deck. Really, really good against Big Priest. If you play the Unraveler in a timely manner, you can prevent a Shadow Essence or a Psychic Scream, for instance, just allowing you to keep the initiative going. Zul'jin is in this deck, who can then replay your various spells like Play Dead and Master's Call and 9 lives, perhaps even getting you more copies of Thaddius in the process. And of course, Deathstalker Rexxar for that unlimited zombie beast value. So we're going to have a look at this deck in action on the Wild Mode ladder, and we're going to be starting out against everyone's favourite opponent, a Big Priest.
Let the hunt begin.
Okay, this game was recorded prior to the buffs going live, and I was just really curious about how this deck would fare against Big Priest. Obviously, if a Big Priest gets Barnes on 4 and then multiple resurrection effects, you're kind of screwed. However, we have a card in our hand that's going to prove, hopefully, to be very, very helpful, and that's Sylvanas. And notably, there is Sylvanas and also Play Dead. So we may be able to steal something good. Yeah. So nothing to do for us to begin with. I value keeping the coin in hand, because maybe on turn 6 I can play Sylvanas, coin Play Dead. Master's Call on turn 3 is a possible option. Could find us something good. Or there's Stitch Tracker. And I'm surprised that he has to think at all about these turns.
This beast will not be tamed.
Stalag seems fine here. If this was an aggro deck, I would have taken the sheep. But I just want big threats. And Shadow Word Pain. How interesting. How interesting. Feels like a bit of a waste playing that on a 2-2. Nerubian Unraveler is a phenomenal pickup. A phenomenal pickup. In fact, I may coin that out on my next turn, just to block his turn 6 Shadow Essence play. Maybe. Yeah, such a great card against Big Priest.
I must consider.
Well played.
Wow. Shadow Word Pain. Again.
To the traitor king.
Alright. So, hopefully this means he has nothing to do on this turn, when he would have been planning on playing Shadow Essence. So that can lead the way for us to develop something big on the following turn. Yeah, nothing to do.
Wow.
So now if he's got Psychic Scream, he can't play it. And we can just keep pushing damage. Yeah. Nothing to do on this turn either. Oh, there's Fugan. Well, may as well develop it. Because if he has Psychic Scream, he can't play it until turn 9. So we're safe for the time being. Oh look, another Unraveler. So the question is, what do we do here? We don't have any kind of lethal. What do we want to develop? What do we want to commit on this board, assuming that there is a Psychic Scream in that hand? But there may not be.
For master.
So, I'm just gonna kind of go all in here. Double Thaddius on the board. If he screams, we can still develop stuff the following turn. Alternatively, if he has a big board clear, that cube will ensure that we still have stuff left on the board. And that's not going to be enough to save him. Yeah, double Thaddius here is going to be too much. Well, there's still a Thaddius left. Still, I really want to get off that Sylvanas Play Dead combo. I really want to surprise him with that. And I'm not sure what he's thinking about here. What are you going to do with 1 mana? So, if he'd screamed, we still could have developed an Unraveler. We could have developed a Ziliax. But yeah, still didn't get to play our Sylvanas Play Dead combo, so that's a little bit disappointing. But oh well.
Rexar versus Gul'dan.
Okay, our next game is against a Warlock.
Let the hunt begin.
So, there are multiple possibilities here. This Warlock could be a Zoolock. That's unlikely, but it's possible. It could be a Cube-Lock. It could be a Rhino-Lock. It could be a Mechathune-Lock. Lots of different possibilities. At the very least, we have something to do on turn 1, and we have something to do on turn 3. So that's reasonable. It could be worse.
I greet
right?
you.
We could have all of our late game in our hand.
Greetings, traveler.
So I kind of see a curve here. I see a 3 into a 4. I think that's reasonable. Now my opponent plays Plot Twist. That's pretty cool. He's now drawing a further set of options into his hand. And he may have found something now that he could use productively on the next few turns. I think Plot Twist is a highly underrated card. I think it deserves to see more play than it does, because I think it performs a very useful function.
My pack will hunt you down.
Okay. So, going forward, we have Stalag with Rush. So that could deal with something big, if you can cheat something big out onto the board.
The end is coming!
But the end is coming. Double Doomsayer, wow. So now I'm faced with a choice. Do I just push damage to the face and let the Doomsayers go off? Or do I try and clear this board? Because I can clear the Doomsayers. I can, but at great expense. The question is, do I want to pay that price to clear the Doomsayers? I think I do, because in doing so, Houndmaster Shaw will still be alive.
That minion already attacked.
And I'm rather keen to keep him available on the board. Yes, only at 2 health. But I'm rather keen to keep him alive and available on the board, because if he sticks, I still get that rush effect. So I think that was worth doing. And of course now he's dead. But if he'd sticked, we would have benefited. Now my opponent had to invest a Dark Bomb there. And perhaps couldn't develop everything that he wanted on that turn.
Death to the traitor king.
So I think it was a fun play. Nerubian Unraveler. Don't think he's going to do much here, but he's a bot. It's a 5/5. Okay, so Stalag staring down this Void Caller. We have Geppetto for turn 8, which would be pretty cool.
From the void,
Okay, so 2 Void Callers on board. He's going to be guaranteed now to get a good demon down.
Stalag kill.
7 to the face. That's pretty good. It'll be interesting to see what he chooses to target here. Whether he chooses to target Geppetto or Stalag. I assume that Geppetto is the one that will be targeted here by those Void Callers. Okay, maybe not. He has the Siphon Soul and the double trade. Fair enough. Oh wow, plot twist again. Assuming he's going to draw a Void Lord here. No, he didn't. Okay, fair enough. Well, we have no time for games. So we're going to steal that Mal'Ganis. Okay. Twisting Nether would be needed here to clear this board. But this is so cool. We've stolen the Mal'Ganis, so we're going to deny him the value of getting Mal'Ganis back to life via Blood Reaver Gul'dan. Quite often, Mal'Ganis coming back to life with a board full of other demons is when Mal'Ganis, of course, is most effective, because those Void Lords, those Void Walkers even, that come back to life get really significant buff. And sometimes that buff alone can just be enough to give the Warlock lethal the following turn. So stealing Mal'Ganis, such a big deal. And you'll note that we've drawn Deathstalker Rexxar, which, in terms of the value game, eventually we will be able to outvalue our Warlock opponent. But for the time being, he's still going to have to contend with Sylvanas, Mal'Ganis, and eventually Thaddius. So, for the time being, Deathstalker Rexar not even needed.
This beast will not be tamed. Time.
I like the cube here. Yeah, this is pretty good. And there he is. There's Thaddius. And if that cube is destroyed, there is then going to be the potential for summoning more copies of Thaddius. So we're in a pretty good spot here. But I'll give my opponent all the credit in the world. He put up a good fight. But I think stealing that Mal'Ganis was quite pivotal. Yeah, 10 cost 11. Feels amazing. Wow, there's Rin. But it's not enough. Now after that game, BM King 69 sent me a friend request, and I was expecting to accept this request, to be shouted at and insulted, but no. BM King 69 had some really lovely comments, some really nice comments, saying that I'm one of his favourite YouTubers and he was honoured to lose to me. And yeah, that's such a positive thing. So BM King 69, thank you very much for all of that positivity. And look, I benefited from this friend request because BM King 69 then sent me the deck code for his Plot Twist Control Warlock, and I've started playing it, and I've been having a lot of fun with it. He's got a 58% win rate with the deck, Legend 2 months in a row. That means the deck's pretty good. So BM King 69, thank you for the kind words, and thank you for your friendship. It really is appreciated.
Rexar versus Uther.
I will fight with honor. Let the hunt begin.
So this final game was recorded after the buffs went live, and we're going up against a paladin. So this is more than likely an odd paladin, and therefore we really need the explosive sheep. Yeah, odd paladin confirmed.
The light dims, but we fight.
So I'm hoping that explosive sheep can be found from the Stitch tracker, maybe? Otherwise we are going to have quite a slow start to this game. It won't be till turns 5 and 6 when we can start to develop significant threats. But by then, he'll have quite a substantial board build-up. And, back to your homes.
This beast will not be tamed.
Nope, there it is. There's the sheep.
I hunt alone.
But Studer Darkshire here is going to give Divine Shield to his dudes. So that could make it a little bit awkward to deal with them when we play our explosive sheep.
Reporting for duty. Reporting for duty.
So I was going to say, to get round that, we'd need explosive sheep comboed with the play dead, perhaps. So then you get 2 triggers of the death rattle that gets through Divine Shield, but he's played a secret, which is probably Never Surrender.
I hunt alone.
So that's going to make playing spells a little bit awkward. Now I had nothing to do that turn. I thought getting the sheep down now would be ideal, because he's going to kill it. He won't let it live. But it's then dead, and then we can use 9 lives to trigger it again.
for duty.
Although, with Never Surrender up, it's going to be problematic for us. So we're going to have to wait for a bit. Now, thankfully, we have Ziliax here.
Unity, precision, primitive.
And now that I can see 9 lives and Feign Death in hand, I'm feeling a little bit happier about the situation.
To arms, men!
Okay, so we can play 9 lives, trigger the death rattle, and then play another sheep, and then play Feign Death, if we need to. But for the time being, Sylvanas
I have no time for games.
seems fine, because we have no time for games. This could invite a few trades into Sylvanas. He may feel the need to deal with her now. Alternatively,
Reporting for
you
duty.
could just go super wide on the board and throw all that damage face. Oh, that's really unfortunate for him. Patches played from hand. And that is an incredible amount of damage there. But with Explosive Sheep, we could do some work here, even with that being Never Surrender. We get 2 triggers of the Death Rattle, so that is 4 damage. That doesn't quite kill all of the Silverhand recruits on the board once Never Surrender triggers. However, that's where Sylvanas then comes into play. So actually,
Let none survive.
this has worked out pretty well for me. And in order to clear all of his board, we need to steal something, make the trade,
None survive.
and there we go. Okay, so that's a full board clear, and we've stolen 2 of his minions. However, his health total is at 28. We have a lot of work to do to kill him.
Reporting for duty.
That's another copy of Never Surrender, which is fine.
I hunt alone. Duty call. The battle.
Debating between Stalag and the Unraveler here. The Unraveler, I think, is just a little bit safer in case there are spells we have to worry about. Spells like Divine Favour, for example, if you wanted to play out his hand and then play Divine Favour. And we have to be wary of Leroy. Leroy plus a weapon,
Hunt alone.
like Rallying Blade,
Duty call.
that would be an issue. But I'm hoping we can go for one more turn at 9 health and just hope he doesn't have Leroy Rallying Blade. Because I think that's the only thing that kills us. Or Leroy Blessing of Might, perhaps? So if he doesn't have that, we're okay. And then next turn we can play Rexar.
The light dims, but we fight.
Reporting for duty.
Okay. This should just be game over now, because Deathstalker Rexar will come down. Will give us some health.
The eternal hunt has begun.
So now we're at 14 health. We feel pretty safe. I don't think it really matters what we pick here. Maybe I just go with whatever's cheapest. And now we simply set up lethal for that following turn. He needs to deal 14 damage in this one turn, and I don't think he can do it. And it's pretty cool. We've still got a sheep in hand. We have a Terrascale Stalker in hand. So if we wanted, we could still do 4 damage AoE. And he's just showing off here. Thankfully, that mech doesn't have charge. Can you imagine if it had charge? That would be completely broken. Okay, so Volknur's Monster Mash Hunter. Really, really fun deck. One thing you didn't see in the video was Zul'jin get played. I would wonder if Zul'jin is a good fit in this deck, if he's actually needed. I mean, I can see situations where he has value, but so far I've not really experienced that value. So maybe Zul'jin could be replaced by something else. And you know, maybe this is something that Volknur can talk about, because if you guys have any questions about this deck and what its good matches are, what its bad matches are, maybe questions about the mulligan, I'm sure that Volknur would happily answer these questions in the comments section below. So please do leave your comments, and we'll see what comes of it. So, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As usual, I will ask you for a like and a little subscribe. It would be very much appreciated. And I'll see you all again very soon for more Wild Mode fun.